We are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret society, opposed to secret oaths, opposed to secret proceedings, secret proceedings. No official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.
Welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast. This is Abe, your host, and
Sammy Williams, your co-host.
Today is going to be, honestly, just kind of like a random kind of episode. I have to roll a carton. I got a 4-day trip, but I usually just go ahead and roll an entire carton. So, you will hear random noises here and there. I just figured 2 birds, 1 stone. I was in the mood to do a podcast, and Sammy's up, and that's a rare occasion for me and her both to be able to do a podcast together. Right now, she is printing off flyers for the podcast. The audio will be ripped from the video, so you won't be able to see it if you're just an audio listener, but pretty much I do the artwork for every episode individually for every episode. Unless it's kind of like an episode on the same subject, I'll reuse the same art. But what we do is basically I use these and like pretty much like print them off the computer or printer, because we're doing like 30 today just because we're going to be gone for 4 days out of town. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff, a lot of different places, so we can leave a flyer here and there. And for anyone who has a podcast or a YouTube channel and is like struggling getting subscribers, you would be amazed how much in general handing out flyers does. Like, honestly, putting your boots on the ground, I feel like I've gotten more responses from, hey, I've seen your flyer, than I have of like, oh, someone told me about you, or I seen your post, or you see what I'm saying? Twitter seems to be working well. Like, I did a random episode on Johnny Cash fights an ostrich, and next thing I know, I literally a group invited me to join their group. It was like ostrich fan group, like the most random out there thing ever, and it's like, I don't know. It's one of those things that, like, that's why I love the internet, is you can find anyone and anything on there, you know? But yeah, so, if you hear noises, it's the rolling machine, because I roll my own cigarettes. Today's sponsor is Kentucky Best. They don't pay me, but I did just give them a free sponsor. Our only sponsor is Anchor. We're up to $2.58. So if you're watching us on YouTube and you would like to use audio only, and there is actually people who do that. Like my buddy at work, we're night stalkers, so like we listen to podcasts like crazy. So my phone dies like towards the end of the night. I use an actual little pocket charger. So I'll just plug it in, and I'm still able to like not watch YouTube, but listen to podcasts on YouTube. But he has the problem of like, I'll send him like podcasts and stuff, and he'll get halfway through a podcast and his phone's dead because the video is killing the battery. And all he's doing is like, we're stocking shelves, he's only listening because it's a podcast, you know. So if you ever feel like you have that problem to where there's a job to where you can listen to podcasts, but the video kills your battery, we're not limited to just YouTube or BitChute or YouTube. You can listen to us on Google Podcasts, Breaker, Anchor, Radio Public. We've got quite a few, so just figured I'd throw that out there. The first subject, like I said, today is just kind of like I get a lot of conspiracies and stuff that I can't make a whole episode on it. So what I like to do is kind of collect them all. Gotta catch them all, collect them all, you know. I collect them all, and then I just kind of do like a compilation of conspiracies. We're going to be covering a lot of news and stuff like that, but I did want to start today's episode off with, first off, I'm wearing a Paranormal Roundtable shirt. If you have not checked them out, you need to. I had actually, pretty much the shirt sums it up on what they cover anyways. UFO, Dogman, Bigfoot. They cover all sorts of weird stuff, ghost stuff, pretty much like this channel. The only thing they don't really cover is like conspiracy theories. They kind of try to stay away from that. But the dude, he had put out a video and he was talking about, not really complaining, but he was talking about like, man, I can't keep doing this podcast because a lot of people think, like, I've had people who are haters and trolls in the comment section and they go, oh, you're just trying to get views, which that statement right there doesn't make sense because it's like, well, obviously I'm trying to get views because I consider this an art piece. So it would be like if you painted a painting and then as soon as it was finished, you shoved it in the closet and was like, I don't want anyone to look at this. I consider this art. So if I'm making a podcast, yeah, I want people to listen or to watch. Like, that's the whole purpose of it. Otherwise, you're just, you should be locked in a mental home and just be yelling and talking to a padded room at that point. And I mean, I'm crazy, but I'm not that crazy. Not yet. But he has a full-time job. He works like, I think it's like 6 days a week. He's a big buff dude. He used to be like a fighter. So I mean, he's a stout mofo. His name's Josh Turner, but his nickname's Wolf, you know. But he had put out a video, and he was just kind of like, dude, I run my own business. You know, like, I would like to do this podcast, but I have to ask off like one day each week to do this podcast. And where he runs his own business, he's having to pay someone to work his shift because he works with them. He's not that type of boss that just sits there behind the desk and, oh, everyone do everything. He's hands-on, you know. He's a hard worker, and he wants to be able to do the podcast, but he's losing money. He sells merch. You know, he's losing money because he has to pay someone to work his shift. So like doing the podcast, he's actually losing money. And that's why, like, I get haters sometimes that are like, oh, you're doing this for the money. And it's like, I have a sponsor, but I didn't get that sponsor until last year. Yeah. And I've been on YouTube for 4 years. Originally, this channel started out as like a book review channel. And then I got into conspiracy theories. And I got hooked on podcasting, you know, like listening to podcasts, and I'm like, So like people do this for a job or at least a side gig, like talk for a living. I can't shut up. So like put a fucking microphone in front of my face and I'm gonna record this shit. Cause I drive her nuts. You know? Once I get going,
Yeah.
I can't shut up, man.
Yeah. And it's hard to get word in edgewise myself.
Right.
I can just sit there and listen.
Yeah. So yeah, basically what I was saying though is like he's not struggling on money, but he's losing money by doing the podcast. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna buy a t-shirt off of him. Because for one, I seen the t-shirt that he was advertising and it looked cool as fuck, and it is cool as fuck. But I didn't have the money at the time, so I waited a little bit, and we finally got enough money the other day, and this is the reason why I'm bringing this up, is his mom is in the hospital right now, and he's like torn up about it, and these, you know me, like I try to feel people out. But like, and I can tell, man, this dude he's an awesome fucking dude. He's a Christian. But his mom, she's got something wrong with her brain, and I could be wrong, but I think it's like a brain cancer. So he's scared that she's gonna die. Like he's talking like she might die. And happy Mother's Day, by the way. Sorry that I'm bringing it down talking about moms dying, but so then I definitely went and bought a shirt, and I don't know, I was like, okay, like I already wanted to buy one to keep the podcast going, because that's the only way these podcasts can survive, you know. And after hearing about his mom, I'm like, okay, I'm buying a shirt. Like, I will literally feel bad if I don't. And I wanted to anyways, but I just wanted to give them a shout out. And he had mentioned on a video the other day that he kind of was breaking down on Facebook or something and talking about, sorry I got emotional, because like I said, he's a big brute, you know. And I didn't have time to comment because I was working, and I was like, dude, when it comes to like your mama, like I'm not real close to mine. Me and her are kind of estranged, but I remember, you know, when I was close to her, that love of a son and mother, and he was breaking down and apologizing for it. And the only thing that he was begging for was, he's like, I'm not begging for money, I'm not begging for anything, just pray for my mom, because he's super Christian, which is cool. Like, he literally was online just begging for prayers. So, you guys know my channel's pretty open, and most of the time I would say, because I've got people who follow me who are like witches, I've got people who follow me who are Christians, and we got a tight-knit fucking tribe. Like, everyone in the comment section gets along just fine. My group, my followers. I need to come up with a name for you all. So I don't know, hit me up in the comments if you guys want me to come up with a name for you. But we accept everyone here, man. If you're a Christian and you want to leave a comment to say, hey, I'm praying for you, or God bless you, I always comment back, thanks, I'll take it. You know, I believe that this whole R word religion and stuff, it gets in the way of spirituality, man. So, but if you do, the only thing that I ask is prayers only. Don't be like sending spells his way and stuff like that. I know, hey, I do witchcraft. I know, we know what it does and it works, but for a Christian, man, they get freaked out by that, you know. So that was the first, you know, talking point. So how have you been? You haven't talked to them for a minute, so I think you need to give a personal update while I'm looking at what's next.
I'm fine. I'm doing fine. Just working home. I don't really think I have really an update. Just that's what we really do is working home.
Yeah,
I've got my own
we
life.
have no life.
Pretty much, yeah. I come home. Whatever comes chores I need to do, I do them. I got a little bit of a routine of how I do things. That's really about it. That's taking care of the kitty cat.
Yeah. Yeah, he won't be going with us on the trip, which is fine. You said he's what? You don't think he can handle it?
No, not the big long car ride. He just can't handle it right now.
Right.
So, because I think I need to still train him in the car, try to teach him that it's okay. You know, car ride's not bad. Going fast in the car, because I think that I think he can feel, you know, that the inertia of the car going faster, and I think that freaks him out.
Right.
So, that's another reason why. Because even just going to Louisville, I mean, he's going an hour away, he's freaking out.
Right.
So, think about what that would do to him for 3 hours.
Well, you gotta think too, man. Like cats, they're like, for one, I believe that they're like halfway in this realm and halfway out.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why they're so in tune with seeing spirits and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, that could be the same said with a dog.
Well, yeah.
But a dog can handle a car ride way better.
A dog don't have like senses like a cat, dude. I feel like a cat's more hypersensitive, so like driving around or hiking, too much going on, like it would freak a cat out more than a dog, I believe, because they're hypersensitive, dude.
Yeah.
You ever pet a cat? It acts like it's on ecstasy, man.
Well, I mean, you know, honestly, dogs do also have that. They can actually sometimes be hypersensitive to your pet. The specific word I'm looking for.
To emotions and spirits and shit.
No.
They're just as sensitive, but
No, that's not what I mean.
physically?
Yeah, I'm talking about the physical. They can also get overstimulated while petting.
Not as much as a cat.
Not always, but they can too, is what I'm just saying. Is that dogs
Yes, I know they can too, but I'm saying not as much as a cat.
I know.
Yeah.
I was agreeing with you. I was just saying that dogs can also get,
I agree.
which that's usually, cats do tend to be a little more sensitive to the pets and the stimulation than a dog. That's why, although a cat's not saying, oh, I don't love you, some cats, or most cats, sadly, they do get overstimulated. That's why they're kind of like, okay, I don't want to be petted anymore, and that's why they walk away. It's not that they don't love you, they're just going, yeah, this is like overstimulating my body.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah. So I'm going to walk away now. That's something people misunderstand about cats.
Right.
They think, oh, they don't love me because they're not always over here like a dog. And it's like, no, trust me, they still love you, and they let you know.
I feel they're more independent though. Dogs are definitely independent. Like you can't leave a dog in a house for like 4 days.
No, but
They're
honestly,
gonna shit everywhere and tear shit up. And
cats actually are far more dependent than you think. Trust me, they will yowl and, you know, tear shit up when
but
you
they're
do.
more dependent than a dog. Or
Right.
I mean, less dependent than a dog. They are more independent than a dog.
Kinda. That's what I'm saying. I don't think that as much.
I'm just making small talk. You disagreeing with everything. I feel like I'm making sense, but
Well, I'm not disagreeing in a bad way. I'm
yeah.
conversating back with you on this, saying my personal belief is no, actually. They are more,
You think they're more dependent on us than a dog?
not more than a dog per se, no, but they're more than you think. A lot of people have that stereotypical outlook on them of, oh, they'll be just fine on their own, you know, like they're totally solitary animals, and that's actually been proven many times that they're actually not. People have started to more record their pet, like when they leave the house.
Oh yeah, no, I agree with that. I'm saying like emotionally, it could be just as bad on them because like I'm sure like as soon as we leave, he's gonna be at the door. Meow meow. And people say animals don't have a sense of time. I think they have a small amount of sense of time.
Yeah.
Because I had that ferret, man. His name was Sid. I had this ferret. And me and my ex-wife, we left for 2 days. That's it. And he had enough sense of time to understand that we didn't just leave for like a work shift. That we were like, he thought we were gone forever. So he starved himself. And he had plenty of food and plenty of water. By the time we got back, he like was almost like half dead, and he had starved himself to the point like, yeah, he was on his deathbed, and I'm like, seriously, we were coming back, you know, and I had to put him down. It kind of sucked. All right, so first, now that we're all updated and everyone's caught up, we got the China rocket, Secureteam, Bill.
Okay, well, what new things have you heard about China rocket? Because I ain't heard nothing. Other than I think I've seen the headline news of it won't hit Kentucky.
Yeah, no, we're good. They had listed off, which is actually what I was going to bring up in this. It did hit.
It's already hit?
Yeah, it landed in the Indian Ocean.
Okay.
But yeah, they were like, this is something that kind of pissed me off. So I can kind of rant on it a little bit. Let's see.
Yep, you rant away while I go get my coffee.
Yeah, I've already got it written down, my talking points. I'm not ignoring you all or anything, by the way. I'm just literally getting on with my talking points. So China has had an issue before with they launched, it wasn't a rocket, it was a space station went down because it's made in China, you know, that whole stereotype. By the way, if I'm talking shit about China, I'm not talking about Chinese people, I'm talking about their government. Their government fucking sucks, dude. They've got concentration camps, it's communist, it's horrible. So it cracks me up when you hear like Antifa people like, oh, we want communism. Okay, go to China. See how that turned out for them. But they had issues in the past of like space stations coming down. And one of them landed on a village in like Africa and just completely killed an entire village. And I don't know, it kind of made me think, I listened to Rogueways. So yeah, there's a little shout out. Rogueways. If you hit her up and tell her that I shouted her out, if you do subscribe to her and stuff. 'Cause that's the only way this channel grows. But she had made a good point on a podcast the other night. She was talking about, you know, Skylink. She looked up in the sky and was like, what the fuck is that? And she thought it was like UFOs, man. And I haven't seen it yet. I've seen videos of it. Have you seen Skylink?
Nope.
It does actually look pretty fucking cool. It's like literally a line of like dots. All the way across the sky.
I wonder if that's Elon Musk's
it is.
satellites.
It is.
It is?
Yeah, it's supposed to work with 5G or something like that.
Yeah, because he's trying to bring, which isn't actually a very nice idea, trying to bring internet service to everybody around the whole world, which is a nice thought.
Which I'm going to get on to Elon Musk.
Yeah.
On how I feel about him. But I'm not interrupting, that was one of my talking points. I got a little bit to say about Elon that I haven't said yet on this channel. The point she had made was, who gives these people like the rights to just throw stuff up in our space?
Yeah, that is, I will agree with that comment.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a nice idea to be able to bring the internet to everybody. That is. However,
it's not a necessity.
No, because I think actually, honestly, that Disney movie, shit, what is it called?
I don't know, I try not to watch
WALL-E.
Disney. WALL-E. Yeah, I like WALL-E though, that one was good.
Yeah, but I think about that. Look at all the junk surrounding Earth.
Yep.
It's like one day we're going to end up like that if we don't stop and think about what we're doing. Like, progression is nice.
Yeah.
Being able to make life a little bit easier on ourselves is nice, but we have to think about how can this affect us as a whole, though, too.
Had you checked the camera? Okay.
How does this affect us as a whole, though? I don't think a lot of times people who are questioning things in a good way, going, well, why does this work this way? Why does that work that way? How can this work if I try this? It's good because that's how we get new things. It's how we learn.
Yeah.
But that's where I think we need to buffer the people who go, wait. Now let's ask the question, how does this affect us as a whole?
Yeah.
How does this affect our community? How does this affect
See, that's the thing, though.
us as a whole?
And that's kind of getting into when I'm going to talk about Elon. I'm 50-50 on Elon, and I'll get into that in a minute. And I'll tell you exactly why I'm 50-50 on Elon. But as far as, like, what her quote was, and this is not verbatim, her quote was essentially like, who said that they can just put that in my sky? And I kind of like that, because she's a very spiritual person, and she's like, that's my sky. And she didn't mean it selfishly, like it's hers only, but that's, and it is. She meant all of us, man. Like, when you look up in the sky and they're putting chemtrails or Skylink, who, that's your sky too. You didn't tell them they could do that. I don't remember, and these elites, man. Elon's 50-50, and I'll get into why I think he's 50-50, but like, fucking Bill Gates, you know, Fauci, all these elites who are doing all this weird stuff with the, you know, the wizard potion right now. Who, like, when did God come down from heaven and go, I select these 13 bloodlines to be in charge of the whole world, you know? Or like the Georgia Guidestones, shit like that. Like, no one elected these people to, like, decide everything for us. And I kind of like that mindset. But that was the point I was making with this Chinese satellite that fell and literally crushed an entire African village. Like, that to me, if I was that African nation, I would have considered that an act of war from China.
Or at least I'm gonna sue you.
Yeah, that's bullshit. Your stupid rocket that you're launching, or space station from another country,
has affected my country, so you're
Yeah.
going to pay for it. It's kind of like having a car wreck, if you ask me. There's a reason why there's the insurance from
Yeah.
car to car.
But you know China, I don't know for sure, but I'm sure they were just kind of like, oh, fuck you, we do it all the time. That was racist, sorry. But, so they launched some stupid rocket the other day, yesterday, or the day before, and it was a, let me look at my notes, because I want to get it right. Pressure tank. A pressure tank landed on in someone's farm. Luckily, I don't think it harmed anyone. I didn't really hear that it did. But it's still the point. And the rocket, the rest of it landed in the Indian Ocean. Like India doesn't have enough problems as it is right now. But yeah, I just think that's fucking crazy. Here's something, too, that I thought was odd. It's kind of a conspiracy, and I've actually invented this conspiracy. And I like inventing conspiracies. Another shout-out to Marfugal News, because I wouldn't have heard about it unless I've listened to him. My brother turned me on to him. Last week, or earlier this week, I can't remember, they were saying that and it came around the same time that this rocket fell. They were saying that Halley's Comet, when it comes through, there are like particles, like pieces of the comet that fall off, and they kind of like fall behind and create their own orbit. Like sometime last week, or this week, I can't remember, sometime around the same time as this stupid rocket launch, they were saying that we would be able to see fragments of the tail come in. And I kind of was like putting two and two together, like, well, what if they're telling us it's Halley Comet tail fragments when they know it's a Chinese rocket falling? Like, trying to cover it up. That's just me. I'm a conspiracy theorist. It's just, I figured that was something to note. Okay, now I get to go on about Elon Musk. I think Elon Musk, I feel 50-50 about the dude. I feel like he has a soul, because I mean, I was showing my wife some video about him. You can look it up. Look up Elon Musk cries. And he was talking about, this was like when he was first starting SpaceX and all that. He was talking about, because he believes, he's an intelligent man, he's smart as a whip. You know, I'm not insulting his intelligence. But he was talking about how none of the actual, like, current astronauts, or not all of them, like, some of them kind of don't accept them. And he literally started tearing up in the interview. Like, you'd have to watch it yourself. Like, he almost cries, if not cries a little bit during the interview about how he just, like, he grew up and these astronauts were like his heroes, inspired him to do everything that he's doing now with SpaceX, and they're just kind of like, fuck you, you know? Which, so that makes me think that he's not, like, complete.
Action again.
Sorry, we ran out of batteries. That, and like I said, Sammy will be in and out. But what I was getting into was basically the elite have this reptilian brain. And I mean, by saying reptilian, it doesn't mean that I think that they're all reptiles, you know? I'm not David Icke. I actually like David Icke. I did a video actually praising David Icke, and for some reason one of his cult members, like, jumped my shit. You know, I don't think they're all reptiles. I mean, dude, I've seen aliens. You know that I believe in the Anunnaki. You know that I believe in the Greys. I haven't seen a reptilian. They're probably real. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I'm just agnostic about it. But I quoted someone else's joke, and that's a whole nother long story. Well, what I was saying is I don't think Elon has that reptilian brain. And by reptilian brain, I mean, like, that's literally, there's a reptilian part of everyone's brain. You know? So when you say reptilian, it just means that somebody has more of a reptilian brain. Like, they can't do art. That's...
I think that's why some people...
Go on.
No, I know. I think that's why some people can be more quote-unquote cold-hearted or analytical. I think that's the reptilian side of the brain.
Yeah.
Because think about it, or, I'm not saying a reptile doesn't have love.
They don't, though.
But not really, not like warm-blooded creatures do.
No.
They have a different kind of way they think.
And like when we act cold and evil, I think that's our reptilian brain coming out. And what I was saying though is they can't do art. Like if you've noticed, like the Illuminati, the generic term, like within like rap music, pop music, all it is trash. All it is getting out like a narrative, you know. Tavistock Institute propaganda, you know. So I think that Elon, I think he's 50-50, man. I think he could be controlled opposition, and we all thought that when he first came out. And this is what made me stop being a fan of Elon. I don't dislike him because I mean, he could be fooled just as much as us. But, because he does buck the system a lot. Like, he's bucked the system as far as, like, the PCR test. And pretty much showed how they're, like, you know. He's been anti-wizard potion, if you catch my drift, for the audio listeners. So, I mean, I do like what he's saying, but he also flip-flops. Like, one thing that I don't like is, like, he was on Joe Rogan, you know, and he's like, you know, I build machines and robots and AI, but I tried to warn them, but they would not listen. Talking about Terminator, Skynet, machine takeover and stuff. And everyone's like, oh man, that's so deep what he said. And I'm like, no it's not. Well, what do you mean? Like, you're the one building them. You're warning people about AI, yet you keep building them. That would be like me, like, man, I'm real suicidal, but for some reason I just keep buying guns, you know? Like, you're warning us about AI, but you keep building AI. That makes zero sense whatsoever. That is the stupidest shit that I've ever heard. Like, you are part of the problem. That needs a flip-flopper, man. Because he'll say, oh, I'm warning about AI machine takeover, and then next month, he's talking about, yeah, we need to start pushing more towards like a transhumanist society to where we merge one with machine. And it's like, okay, either the elites, whatever you want to call them, I just call them the elites because it's a generic term. You can call them whatever you want. Either the elites are telling him, hey, you need to stop bucking the system or else we'll, you know, take you out. You need to start spouting transhumanism. I don't know. It could be that, or honestly, he could just be that unwhole of a person and just flip-flops. Because, I mean, there's another person right now who's in the spotlight as far as, like, current affairs of what's going on with the world. Dr. Fauci, man. And I won't get too much into it, so that way I don't have to speak in code. But, he flip-flops, man. Like crazy. If you actually watch old-ass interviews of when this bullshit started with the beer bug, if you catch my drift, Fauci has flip-flopped this entire fucking time, dude. He's saying, oh, don't wear a mask. And the next thing, you know, he's saying, oh, you need to wear a mask. And in the conspiracy theory community, the truth community, whatever you want to call it, was like, dude, watch, they're going to try to make us wear like 2 or 3 masks. As a joke. I kid you not, as a joke, we were just joking. Next thing, the motherfucker is like, yeah, you guys need to wear 2 or 3 masks. I'm like, are you kidding me? And then we had made another joke. I think, honestly, as a conspiracy community and a truth community, our brains are quantum computers and we control this reality. You understand? I know that sounds batshit and tinfoil, I don't really care. But we control the reality. And I think if more people knew this, we could change it for the better. God is within you. You are God. You are controlling your own reality and the overall reality. Our brains are quantum computers. So we made the joke of, oh, they're testing us through the nose. They're going to start testing our assholes next. Jokingly. What happens? Yeah, so we came out with anal swabs. Like, we were just kidding. I swear they got someone who is in the elites, who they're like, yeah, keep an eye on the truth community, the conspiracy theorists. Keep an eye on them. And every time they make a joke about something, let's actually do it. So it's gotten to the point we've literally, as content creators, have like literally told each other, we need to stop joking about it because every time we make a joke, it actually comes true. And the thing is, man, like, I love this time period too because I feel like people are waking up. This could be the great awakening, the great unveiling, if you're a Christian. You know what I mean by that? Because someone put out a meme the other day, and it was like some like meme about when you start going to your conspiracy theorist friend with questions. Because everything I've said about this beer bug situation has come true. We had a meeting, and this was way back when it first started. We had a meeting at work, and my boss was like, hey, they're making us wear masks now. They're saying it's only going to last 2 weeks. So it sucks, but it's only 2 weeks. And this was like a fucking year ago, dude. And after the meeting, I was like, and I made sure everyone heard me. I'm like, hey, I'm not trying to like buck the system. And I'm not trying to like shut you down. I know I'm the new guy, but it's not gonna be 2 weeks. Like, this shit's gonna stay. And it has. And now, even after you get the boom boom in the arm, you get the wizard potion, you still have to fucking wear it. So, what's the initiative to get the wizard potion?
There ain't none for me.
I mean, we're not gonna do it. So, tis what tis.
I'm good.
Here
I am good.
you can talk to him. Oh, one more thing though. This is and I'm gonna end it here because I do have some talking points. One thing that kind of disappointed me about Elon, because it was an independent space program. I was real psyched. They work with NASA. I do not trust NASA as far as I could throw them. I've already said in the past 4 years and provided evidence why NASA is complete, corrupt, utter BS. If you still listen to anything that NASA says, that's on you. I mean, cool, have fun with that. I just look at it as sci-fi at this point. I mean, if you like Star Trek, then you'll like NASA. So yeah, SpaceX works with NASA. The whole rocket launch and landing of the rocket, that shit's just in reverse. I've watched live feeds, every single live feed gets cut. Yeah, SpaceX is just as fake as NASA, that's all I have to really say on that. I'll end it on Elon though, I have nothing else to say about him. I'm 50-50. I mean, I like the guy, like, personally. I feel like if I actually hung out with him personally, like, I feel like we would have a good fucking time. Because, I mean, he smokes weed, you know. I feel like I would have fun hanging out with Elon. But, like, as far as our views, like, no one's going to agree 100%. So, I mean, I hope I didn't unleash the Elon fangirls in the comment section. But I don't trust him. Not 100%. I trust him about 50%. He seems kind of cool sometimes, but yeah, he flip-flops, man. You can talk to him for a minute if you want, if you have anything to say.
Oh, I did have that comment when we were talking about reptilians and stuff of just, you said, you know, they can't do artwork. And it made me think, honestly, of Hitler. Of, like, he can make beautiful artwork, but he was one crazy guy.
Maybe he wasn't reptilian.
No, and that's what I was going to say, was that sometimes, just because someone is kind of crazy and it seems like they're heartless,
Yeah.
I would probably say it doesn't always mean their reptilian brain per se is coming out.
We need to come up with a code word for Mr. H, though, just because of YouTube. That's something they really cracked down on.
Mr. H.
You just said his name.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay.
when you said it,
You're
I was
good.
like, what?
Yeah. It's something I've been working on more. And actually, speak of the devil, that was one comment that I was going to make. One of my talking points was Marfugel. I gave him a shout out, I believe, earlier, but he was one of the first YouTubers. He's been on there for like 13 years, and if you actually watch his videos, like, you have to like start learning the code, because his entire podcast, like, half of it's in code.
Yeah, which
So,
makes
like,
perfect sense.
Yeah, and he's like, I've never had a strike, not one, in 13 years. And I'm
'Cause he
like,
was smart enough to code it from the very beginning.
yep, so like, instead of saying like, I mean, you've already said it, instead of saying like Hitler, he'd be like, you know, Mr. H, or, you know, and that's why I'm like, we need to start coming up with codes and shit.
Yeah, it's sad that we even have to do that. That is something
It
that also
is.
makes me upset, is that you have to come up with codes just to be able to freely speak about something. I'm not saying I'm for Hitler.
Yeah.
I was just talking about him in general.
Well, it's gotten to the point where they've wrapped up anti-Semitism with, okay, let me explain this. You have Jews, you have Hebrews, and then you have Khazarian Jews.
Oh, that's a new one for me.
That is a mafia that,
It's Jewish?
yeah, I'm just trying to tread lightly. Just check out, research Khazarian Mafia, because just because you're against that and the Babylonian Talmud, you know, start researching that and actually read the Babylonian Talmud on what some of these people actually believe. I have no problem with the Hebrews, You know, I'm not anti-Semitic. It's just, it's very sketchy ground when you start talking about it. And I really, that's why I haven't touched on any of it. And the thing is here, like, even just for barely poking my finger into it, like, you've done family research and shit, and you might, you said, have like a hint of Hebrew or something, so like...
The reason why we think that is one, our hair, and two, the fact that a large portion of my mother's dad...
was in Germany, right?
Yeah, they came from Germany.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean we're Jews, we're just
I know, but
that...
so like, but the thing is, the point I'm making is like, if someone ever tried to say like I'm anti-Semitic, it's like, okay.
Maybe.
Like I'm married to my wife. We don't know for sure, but it never became a problem with us.
No.
That and they said, you know, that you guys might have been part black, you know, is what Uncle Bear said before he died, and
yeah,
it's like, it's just, I feel like those words get thrown around way too much. That's why I haven't touched much on Hitler and shit.
Yeah.
Because
no,
it's like,
stupid.
everyone like automatically, like they called Trump a racist for 4 fucking years. He dated a black chick. You know? And I've been called racist before, and it's like, not trying to be raunchy, but I went down on a black chick. Do you think the entire time while I was eating her pussy, I was going, ew, this is so horrible, I hate it so much, but for some reason I keep doing it? No. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, if you're really that racist, you wouldn't be able to get your dick fucking hard, dude. Not trying to be raunchy, but just, I hate that that word gets thrown around so much when there are actual real neo-Nazis.
Yeah.
And there's actual real Nazis, kind of like the Bush family, who apparently the left loves nowadays. They're actually Nazi family. Like, that's not even a conspiracy. You can do their heritage. They're actual Nazis.
Yeah.
Like, and you're calling a dude who dated a black chick and a foreigner. He's married to a foreigner. You know, oh, he's against foreigners. He's married to a foreigner. What the fuck? It's cognitive dissonance. I don't want to get into politics, but I wasn't trying to interrupt. I was just like, you gotta be real careful when it comes to that subject.
Which I did not know.
Yeah.
I didn't know Hitler was such a touchy subject. I would have thought that
With
one
Mr.
could just,
H, yeah.
I would just figure one could just talk about him.
What it is the AI picks up the word.
I know, yeah. And that's why I hate YouTube's way of monitoring.
I know.
It's stupid.
So we got Secureteam and George Washington.
What? What?
You choose.
I guess George Washington.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to roll and do this at the same time. I need a little assistance.
Yes.
But because this is all dead air. The random next conspiracy that would not make a complete episode. If you want to take over for a second, that's fine. That would not make a... I know, I just didn't want to make cuts. I'd like it to be...
I know, I don't care.
Technical difficulties, man. You gotta go this way.
Well then...
Jesus!
I have to be careful, I don't want it to come off.
I know, it's just dead air, because you gotta think we got audio listeners, and I really don't want to dice the hell out of this fucking podcast.
We won't have to, we'll be just fine.
Alright, so next subject. Oh, we do still have Bill and Mel. Do you want me to get into that?
Yeah, we can. We can do that one
Okay.
first, that's fine.
So this one's a hot topic, and it's on the mainstream news, so I shouldn't have to do any code words, because we're not talking about the wizard potion.
No, just talking about his personal life.
Yeah, and it's reported on the mainstream news, so I don't understand why it would get pulled if so. Bill and Melinda Gates are getting a divorce, and when all this, when he kind of like showed his face when all this stuff was going on with the whole beer bug sickness, there was a conspiracy theory that got thrown out there. And it was that Melinda Gates was Kevin Kline, the actor. And I don't know, at first I was like, oh, this is just some crazy, like, funny, silly conspiracy. I'm not even going to report on it. Until NPC show, he actually kind of made me look back at this conspiracy and go, holy shit. As crazy as it sounded, there might be something to it. And it was, so Bill and Melinda Gates are getting a divorce, and they are splitting the assets 50-50. Now, we're going to get into why they're splitting it 50-50 towards the end. But this is something odd. So they signed a prenup with each other, and the prenup was that they would get married, Bill and Melinda, but Bill has an ex-girlfriend, and her name is, fuck, I accidentally deleted it. I still got it up here though. Give me just a second. Well, shit. And I accidentally deleted it. Okay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter her name. You can look that up yourself. Bill has an ex-girlfriend, and in the prenup, he's like, I'll only marry you, Melinda, if you sign this paper that basically says I get to go on vacation for 1 week with my ex-girlfriend. What do you think about that, boo-boo?
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, that's stupid. Because then I'd be like, if you tried to do that to me, I would have been like, why the fuck are you marrying me?
That's like, talk about cuckoldry.
Yeah. I'd be like, nah, then we ain't getting married. They're like, fuck that.
Right? No, I agree. That's fucking insane. That'd be like if you did that with me, man. I'd be like, wait, so one week out of every year you get to go on basically a vacation with
someone else?
Yeah, your ex? No.
Yeah, no.
You're insane.
Yeah, that's just stupid.
Beyond.
That's just wrong. I'm sorry, that's just wrong. Period.
Yeah, so that's fucked up. Here's where it gets crazy. Now, put on your tinfoil hat and buckle your seatbelt. I just mentioned a second ago that there's a conspiracy theory that Melinda Gates is Kevin Kline's, the actor. They think that they're the same person. That now he's a woman married to Bill Gates. Guess who the ex-girlfriend is married to? Kevin Kline's brother, Adam Kline.
Okay.
Now this could either just be a insane fucking coincidence, or there's something to Melinda Gates being fucking Kevin Kline.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah, that one really could go either way.
If that's a coincidence, and I'm sorry, I'm not a coincidence theorist, that has got to be one of the most insane coincidences ever.
Yeah, which, I mean, I keep in mind too, though. They're celebrities, including Bill Gates. You know, they're celebrities. They are in pretty close, tight-knit groups of their own. I mean, it could make sense of how that could happen. It's a small world, as they say.
I get it, and it's all prearranged marriages. You know that fucking shit.
Yeah.
But the only reason why it makes me think that there's theories that, like with the elite, with the Baphomet symbol, that it's like transgender, like true Luciferian Satanism, they're all into transgender, and I'm sorry, I'm not against transgender people or anything, but the true Luciferian belief is that they want us all to be like Baphomet, like
half male, half female.
Half male, half female, exactly. The unification of the opposites. They want us all to be like that.
No, I'm good.
And I swear, I mean, look at Michelle and Barack. I mean, I pretty much, as crazy as it sounds, like I personally know, and I don't care if the fans believe me or not, I know that's a dude. You know? Just saying. I've studied it enough that I know to my heart's content that that's a dude, and I swear they push that shit with the Illuminati, like for some reason with Luciferian beliefs, that's what they believe, like they're for that shit. So I don't find it a coincidence that Kevin Kline's brother is married to Bill Gates' ex-girlfriend. I think they're all just kind of swapping.
Which could be why once a year he goes out on a date with her because she's an actual real female, and so he's like, I want to have sex with an actual real female, not you.
Yep.
Which that could be a possibility.
But I have to do this for like ritual purposes.
Yeah.
Sex magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sex magic, man. Alright. Now let's get into why they would get a divorce. Because it is a weird fucking time for them to get a divorce. Like, it just seems random.
We've been married for 27 years.
Yeah, and the beer bug,
She's not gonna
sickness is going on, and Bill Gates is in the spotlight, along with his boyfriend Fauci. So, like, you would think that it's an odd time for them to get divorced. Now, we got 3 theories on why they would get divorced, and it all comes down. It could be any one of these 3 theories. It all comes to the same head, the same conclusion. It's to split the assets is what they're doing. They're wanting to split the assets 50-50, right? Mm-hmm. Now here's why. Ghislaine Maxwell there's about to be like, I think 2 million pages worth of documents open to the public and coming out in court from Ghislaine Maxwell. Mm-hmm. Bill Gates was on Epstein flight list multiple fucking times. Mm-hmm. At least 6, I believe. There's another theory that there's going to be a stock market crash. Because this is like big tops of the pyramid, the elites, they know when the stock market's going to crash.
Yeah, because they control it.
Yeah.
So of course they know.
And then another thing too could be that Bill Gates, his barbecue recipe, it's not turning out right, so he might get sued for it.
Wow.
And he knows that it's coming.
Well, you did say there was a lot of sin going on up north across the border, right?
Right. Yeah, so I mean, if they're married and it's all the money together is in them as one person,
yeah,
the lawsuit would be on both of them.
Yeah, but if they're split, then...
Yep, one gets to keep at least half of it.
Which would mean he gets to keep half of it, because they're not really divorced.
Well, here's another thing, too. If he gets imprisoned, they're going to make that bail to be like... They're going to take all of his assets.
Yeah, I know.
He is the one who's going to get all his money taken.
No, I know. And that's
so
what
at least if they take it all in lawsuits... I still got half my fucking money because...
That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
That's exactly what I meant. That I said he still has half his money.
Yep.
Because they're not really divorcing. They're just legally divorcing.
They're divorcing on paper.
Yeah. And then she'll get to keep half the money for him. She's the holder of it until, he needs it for whatever reason.
Okay, conspiracies aside though.
That would make sense.
Yeah, conspiracies aside... We will at least do the blue pill explanation. And, well, technically it still gets into conspiracy, but that perhaps she knows about what happened on the island and she's just sick of it.
Yeah.
And she's like, nope, I'm done. That could be it,
Yeah, that could honestly be it too. Like, honestly, whether she's trans or not, just again, I can't handle the actual thought of this is what you've been doing.
I just needed it unstuck.
Yeah. I don't mind doing this now. I don't mind. You can...
Well, then I'll keep going if you're going to keep... I'm not going to force myself to roll. Alright, so let's see.
You got smoked for a second, so...
Let's get into Secureteam. And I got a lot of fucking flack for reporting on Secureteam.
Which was stupid. You didn't say anything bad about them.
I know. All I did was speak good. Like, I mean, here's my thing. people go, well, you didn't have to make these videos on them. Yeah, I do. I report on the paranormal, I report on ufology, I report on conspiracy theories, cryptozoology. That's 4 things. Sometimes ancient, history or ancient mythology, stuff like that, because it all ties together. Sadly, he fell under my radar back in the day. And I felt like I opened myself up completely. And was like, look, I'm a friend of Bill. I struggle, with my addiction. I even said it was alcohol. I mean, anyone who's kept up with the channel, they know my shit. I'm an open book. I keep my shit 100. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but I mean, you fell under the radar. My channel. Alright, so what I was saying though is I report on stuff that falls under those subjects. And I like to, anyone who is, on YouTube or does podcasts, like, I'm sorry, but if news is hot on the press, you report on it. And the thing is like, I didn't report on it like some TMZ style of like trashing the dude. I literally just reported the facts. And he has like 1-point-something million fucking subscribers, so I was a little channel at the time. I think I had like 50 subs. And they, like, it all goes back to idol worship. They call these people idols for a reason. They're literally idols, And I had this problem with my little brother last year when the Epstein flight list came out. He is a huge fucking fan of Eminem. And I called him up and I was like, dude, Eminem was on Epstein's flight list. And he's like, oh man. And I'm like, I knew that Trump was fighting against pedophilia. And I was like, you realize he's on the list, like he might go down. And instead of being like, man, that sucks because he's my idol, instead of that, he literally like got mad and was like, Trump better not fuck with Eminem. And I'm like, so if Eminem is proven guilty in a court of law of pedophilia, you don't want him to go to prison for that. Like, I know he's your idol, but what has Eminem done for you? Like, do you know this guy personally? Is this guy your brother? Is this guy your uncle? Is this guy your sister? Like, it just cracks me up that, like, they're called idols, and people get angry, like, I've listened, and that's the thing, like, I can talk politics pretty good with people, because I don't side with Republican or Democrat. I'm an anarchist at the end of the day. I voted for Trump last year. I never hid it. But I mean, I've had people literally talk trash about Trump to me. If you want to keep rolling, go for it. I don't fucking care. And it doesn't bother me, because it's like, Trump was on that flight list too, by the way. But he was the only one to go to the FBI and actually talk to him. No one else did. He was the only one. So, I don't know. I think that says something. But yeah, like, I reported on the news, like, unbiased. If anything, I actually was being nice. Like, I was overstepping, I guess, by being nice and telling them, look, dude, I struggle with alcoholism. And I say that because you don't ever get over that. It's for life. You could be sober 20 years and something happens, like, say my wife died, After 20 years of being sober, like, yeah, I'm going to be hitting the bottle. It's for life, dude. And I just honestly was like, you need help. If you want to reach out to me, like, I have no problem talking to you. And I'm not going to, like, fucking publicly talk about it or anything. It's just like, you need help. And people didn't like that shit. So, I'm going to put myself in the shitter again and report the news. Tyler is back. Now, I didn't report this when he first came back because Tyler, when he was struggling with substances, would be like, oh, I'm going to put out a video this week. And he would go, like, it started stretching out to the point, like, he would not post videos. Like, he'd be like, I promise, I just got a lot going on. It was always an excuse, you know? So I wanted to wait a little bit and see if he's actually putting shit out. I am not subscribed to the new Tyler Security, or it's the old channel, but I'm not subscribed to him anymore, and I'll tell you why. Not to be a dick, but, I found out some things since he's been gone. But, he is back, and he is putting out videos regularly. Now, he has had surgery. Like, he actually has had evidence that he wasn't just bullshitting on why he's been gone and shit. He did have surgery. I think it was either, don't mark my words, but I think it was either his pancreas or appendix. He showed it on video, like, he's got, like, legit, like, a tube hanging out of his stomach and stuff. So, I mean, that sucks, you know? And he basically said, like, he's had a divorce since the channel shut down. I'm not going all the way back into it. You can check out my old videos. Actually, please do, so that way you can see that I wasn't being a dick back then. I don't think I'm being a dick now, but someone will say I am. Because I'm reporting on the news that I cover, which is my job. And yes, I do get paid for this. I get paid a penny an episode, so technically it's my job. He did get a divorce, so he has to pay for, like, divorce lawyer stuff, court stuff in general because of the previous situation, and medical bills. Apparently, he made enough to where, like, he doesn't have, like, poor man insurance like me, to where, like, I ain't gotta pay shit, you know? Actually, that is one good thing Obama did, and I kind of actually liked it. Like, thank you, Obama. I will say that. That's probably the one and only time you'll hear that on this channel. Thank you, Obama. I have free insurance. Don't get comfy, Obama. But, so he's got bills to pay, so he is actually putting out videos, like, regularly, which is cool, you know. Oh, why I am not subscribed to him anymore. Since he was gone, and where he had, like, 1.4 million, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's 1.4 million subscribers, it kind of made a big deal. So a lot of people started digging around and doing some research. Now, there is a couple things. The reason I unsubbed to him, I'll be straight up and honest right now, the reason I unsubscribed to him was he put out an interview of him talking to some, like, ex-government person, and the person was using one of those, like, voice changers, like, they have, it's 2021. They have the technology, man, to, like, reverse that so they can actually hear the original, actual voice of who said that shit. It was him. He was interviewing himself. And I'm a very forgiving person for stuff like, in general, like, I can take white lies, you know, stuff like that. But when it comes to, like, the truth, with the truth community, like, you're supposed to be a member of the truth community. And honestly, I hate to quote him, but George Bush, shame me once, shame on you, shame me twice, won't get fooled again. Sorry. That's what he said. That's not how the quote goes, but I love his version. Won't get fooled again. Shame me once, shame on you. Or, yeah, trick me once, shame on you. Whatever the fuck he says. You know
we get it.
Yeah. And I'm very cutthroat. Like, if you lie to me one time as a truther, I will unsub and I will never go back to your channel. And people here, actually, I would prefer you not to, because the person that I interviewed with the voice changeover wanted to keep his identity secret. And his identity will still be kept secret, because you're not going to be able to find out who he is just from his voice, unless you work for the CIA or NSA or something, which you know who he is anyways by then. I've interviewed Kenneth
Sterling.
Yeah, it's an alias, so I don't remember. I know who he is, but we never said anything too crazy. We did an interview on meditation, and we did an interview on Reiki. But the thing is like, he works in the medical field, so he wanted to keep it separate. So, I mean, if you're very bored, I'm not telling you to do it, but if you're very bored and you got all the time in the world on your hands, you're welcome to reverse his voice, and I guarantee you it's not going to be my voice.
Nope.
So, for me shouting, for me throwing a stone, if you want to see it with the Christian mindset of casting stones first, I'm not telling you not to sub to him. You do whatever the fuck you want. I'm just telling you, I have a very strict mindset of, you lie to me, I cut you off. I will never shout you out. You guys seen how many shout outs I did to other channels. What was it? 4 or 5 already. But I'm done with you, man. Like, we're done. You lied to me. I can never trust you again. That, and I can't prove it, but somebody had told me through the grapevine that he was faking his own videos, like CG and stuff. So, and it sucks, because I've seen UFO, and I know it's real. I know it's real. I can't prove that it was alien. It could have been military. It could have been experimental. But I've seen this shit, so I know UFOs are real, you know? And it muddies the water. Sadly, it muddies the water. So, if you want to keep worshiping your idols, and I'm not talking to you, the fans, I'm talking to the trolls, which will be here. If you want to keep worshiping your idols, bring it on. You know, I'll just mute you. I have this amazing ability to push the mute button. But we got company. I'm gonna wrap it up there. Y'all have a good day.
We are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret society, opposed to secret oaths, opposed to secret proceedings, secret proceedings. No official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.